really thinking when they're not saying anything. Back to you, Mr. President.
Next, I would like to welcome Kanan off the stage.
Hello, I'm Kanan Shankara. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I really get motivated by interacting with every Toastmasters, and I want to thank God for giving me opportunity every day. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Kanan. We usually do support for all our members by waving your hands. I can't wave both of my hands because I'm using one to hold it. So we raise our hands. Let's do a roll exercise. Everyone raise their hand and then shake it. Just to support our members every time. It's like a virtual handshake or clap. So we next person I'd like to welcome to the stage will be Matt.
Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters and guests, congratulations to our new board. My name is Matt Smittle. I live in Blairsville, Georgia. And I remember when I was little, I used to want to be able to turn into the Incredible Hulk. That was a superpower that I wish I had when I was younger. Mr. President.
Thank you, Matt. And then next, I would like to welcome Hariam.
Hello, everybody. This is Hariom from Jersey City, New Jersey. One superpower, I would say I like Batman quite a lot. So all the superpowers that Batman has, I would like to have as well. And that's pretty much it. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster. Mr.
Thank you very much. Now the theme becomes superpowers now. Next, I would like to focus on Adrian Pearson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, I'm Adrian, and I'm coming to you live from Eastern Washington. My superpower, I do have to admit, and I will mimic and be on the piggyback of Trisha. I have the ability to walk into a room and feel the room out, and that is about it. Thank you, Mr. President. Back to you.
Thank you, Adrian. Next, I would like to welcome William Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is William Thomas, and one superpower I want to have is to be able to be a great listener. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Let's see. Yes. Next, so I would like to welcome May.
Hi, everyone. I live in Maryland, Clarksville, Maryland, and my superpower, I think everyone have powers, but if it in terms of super, that's a perception of the people who got it or the people who exert. So I would think my superpower is hopefully in the family. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Next, I would like to welcome Isabel.
Hi, I'm Isabel from Ellicott City, Maryland. I think if I can choose a superpower, I would like to be able to cure disease. That would be an amazing superpower to have. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Next, I would like to welcome our member who went to Singapore today or yesterday, Dana J.
Good morning, Mr. President and fellow Toastmasters. I live in Bangalore, but I'm on travel to Singapore right now. I still don't have a superpower yet, but I wish I had. And if I had, I would love to have a healing touch. I currently work and advise a non-government organization which supports for eye care to people who may turn blind because of avoidable blindness. And that's what I wish. I am a common man. I'm an ordinary person. I do try and do extra. That's about me. Thank you so much. And congratulations to the new team. Look forward to support you. every way possible. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Next, I would like to welcome Imad if it's there. Imad. Nope, it's not there. Dora. Dora, are you there?
Yeah.
You can switch on your webcam now.
Hi. Hi everyone. I'm Dora from Guangzhou Toastmaster, and I'm currently the VPPR. And I didn't know that this meeting is the election. I should have known earlier, or maybe I can join the selection and be an officer. Anyway, I think my superpower is my smile. When I'm happy, I'm smiling. When I'm not happy, and I smile to laugh through it. Okay, thank you. Back to you, President.
Thank you very much, Dora. Next, I would like to welcome Rainy.
Hello everyone, my name is Rainy and I'm from China. And the superpower I wish that I have is that I wish someday maybe I can fly so that I can save a lot of cost of transportation. And also I can save people who are trapped by disasters, like people who are trapped in a fire. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. So basically, finally myself, my name is Aaron. I'm from Hong Kong, currently in Shenzhen. My special powers is to always get injured very easily, so that I'm easily wounded every time in different parts of my body, including my leg. I treat this as a form of superpowers because it can appeal for sick legs, so that I can stop working for 1 day or 2 days. Hopefully that will be a nice superpower. Now I'll pass the stage to, let me say, really, in every meeting, there's always someone that is very important. Today's special important guest, wouldn't say guest, but that person appears to be like a guest in that city, because it's a very colorful background city that I'm trying to make assumption that it's New York, but I couldn't make where it is though. But let's Sunny to bring us the momentum and the atmosphere for today. Good round of applause for Sunny.
Hello, everybody, and congratulations to our executive leadership team. Wish I could have been a part of it, but it's okay. I'll still support you. Welcome again. We are going to kick this off. The theme is superpowers, and we've already heard some great, really great answers. And now we're going to hear some more inspiration. We have inspiration from our inspiration speaker. Please step forward. I think it's Imad. Dajane or Imad?
It's me.
Me, come forward.
Oh.
Matt. Hello,
Yes,
Matt.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I have two short quotes to read. One is by Mark Twain. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. That was by Mark Twain. And I have another one that I found a little bit funny. It's by somebody named Channing Pollock. No man in the world has more courage than the man who can stop after eating one peanut. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Inspirational Speaker, Matt. And by the way, Mr. President, this background actually is Jackson, Mississippi. So that's the capital on the other side of me. Now, the meeting itself is broken into 3 parts. We're already crunched for time. It's 8:35 Eastern time, but we're going to get through this meeting. The meeting is divided into 3 parts, the prepared speeches. The second part is thinking on your feet. That's going to be table topics. And then the third section is listening, and that is evaluations. Also, I could not do this meeting if I did not have helpers. And my dream team for getting this meeting kicked off, we need an odd counter. Is there anyone who would like to be our odd counter? Going once? Going twice?
Madam Toastmaster, I'll do it.
Okay, will you give the roll, please, Mr. William?
Sure. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and future Toastmasters, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I, as your odd counter, will be listening for crutch words. Now, what are crutch words? It's when we do that oh, so forth. And when I hear that, I will ring a little, I will tap my cup. And that's to let you know that you have caused irritation to my ear. And we'll give a report to the Toastmaster today when called upon. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, William. And now we need a grammarian. And if we can't do a grammarian, I will be the grammarian. But I'd love to give someone the opportunity to come up with that word of the day and interesting uses of the language, both positive and not so correct. Anyone? Any takers? Someone who does not have a role? Miss Dora Lee, would you like to volunteer to be our grammarian today? Okay, well then I will just move right along because I know we have to get moving. I'll be grammarian. We also need a body language monitor, and that is Mr. President Aaron Lung filling in this role today. Aaron?
Thank you very much. So my role as a body language monitor will be observing, obviously, two things. One is just like seeing what I'm doing right now. You see some reflection of likes. This is really cool settings for where you position yourself. And also, we are looking for your gestures that really enhance your speeches or your communication techniques. I'll be observing all these different positionings, webcam reflection lightings, and also your eye contact with the screen. And I'll make a report at the end of the meeting. Back to you.
Thank you, Aaron. Next, we have a chat monitor. Aaron, would you go ahead and take that role as well? I haven't had any other volunteers, so chat monitor, would you just do that for us today?
Sure, no problem. I'll be doing the chat monitor as well. Chat monitor responsible for checking all the chats and see whether anything has been missed out or any important messages that has been reflected at the end of the meeting. So that's all for my report. No, that's all for my introduction. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Aaron. And now we need a timer. Time waits for no man or woman, right, May? Maybe we have to wait for May, though. May Han,
Yes,
calling
hi.
you once.
Yes, I'm the timer today, and as a timer, I will time each one's speech. For the prepared speech, we'll have 5 to 7 minutes. At minute 5, you meet the minimum requirement, so you will see this green card. At minute 6, you are fine, and you will see this yellow card, but you may choose to speed up a little bit. At minute 7, you'll see this red card. That means you have 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. For the table topic speakers, you have 1 to 2 minutes. At minute 1, you see this green. That means you meet the minimum time. At 1 minute 30 seconds, you see this yellow card. That means you may want to choose to speed up. And at minute 2, you will see this red card. That means you need to wrap up in 30 seconds. And for evaluators, you'll have 2 to 3 minutes. At minute 2, you see green means you meet the minimum requirement. At minute 2 and 30 seconds, you see yellow. That means you need to speed up if you choose to. And minute 3, that means you need to wrap up in 30 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you for that timing information, May. So now we can get right to it. Our prepared speeches, we have 2. Our first speaker is Tricia Grow, our incoming president. She began Toastmasters just 2 years ago. And as she likes to say, she hit the ground running. Tonight, she will share the questions that spurred her to join Toastmasters. She is coming from Pathways, Innovative Planning, Level 3. And she is connecting that with storytelling. Please help me welcome Tricia Grow, everybody.
Have you ever had an aha moment where something that's been bothering you or you didn't understand finally just became crystal clear? Well, This happened to me just over 2 years ago. It was all because of 3 questions. I'll be sharing those questions with you. I'd like you to consider the answers yourselves, and maybe you will find your aha moment too. You see, I was attending a women's conference, and the speaker came up and she asked the room the following questions. 1, what is your greatest fear? Number 2, what caused this fear? And the third question was, what has this fear cost you? Well, the answer to this first question was really easy for me. I was afraid of speaking. Now, I'm not talking about public speaking, mind you, just one-on-one. I was a very shy, introverted person. In fact, if you came to my church and asked someone where I was sitting, be like, she's the quiet lady in the back row. And that's where I would be found, trying to avoid people talking to me because I just didn't enjoy talking to people. The answer to the second question was a little bit more difficult. Not so much that I didn't know the answer, but to decide to share it with the ladies at my table. You see, the reason I felt I was afraid of speaking was that I was molested as a young child, and this caused a lot of guilt and shame. I felt unworthy, unloved, and I didn't want other people to see that in me. I didn't want them to think that I was unclean or unworthy. So I didn't speak because I didn't want them to see that. Answer to the third question, what has this fear cost you? Oh, this is where I had my aha moment. I realized that this lie that I had felt about myself all my life was completely wrong. I wasn't ashamed. I wasn't full of shame or unworthiness or any of that because this happened to me. It was not my fault. It wasn't something I took part in willingly. It was not a part of me. I got to push it away. And God actually cleared my vision. I was able to see through my eyes clearly for the first time in 40 years and see that I did have something worth to say, that people needed to hear my story because they might feel the same way I did. They might feel ashamed or dirty or not worthy for whatever reasons in their life. So it became clear to me that I was supposed to share my story so that others could feel that they could tell their story too. So I'd like you to consider these 3 questions. What is your greatest fear? What caused that fear? And what has that fear cost you? I know personally that fear cost me a marriage because I didn't speak to my first husband. We didn't communicate. Our marriage failed. How many friends and relationships and job opportunities I missed out on because I didn't speak up or I didn't feel comfortable speaking. And that's what my fear cost me. Don't let your fear cost you things. You can usually overcome pretty much any fear that you have. Maybe it's public speaking. Well, practice speaking in front of your friends or Toastmasters in your church or wherever you have a chance to practice speaking, and your fear becomes smaller and smaller. Whatever fear you have, just
Green.
Go out and do small steps. One small step, and it'll seem like it's not so scary. Find a friend to do it with. Have fun doing your fear. Maybe it's going to the zoo and holding a spider or a snake for the first time. Maybe it's going to your next door neighbor and holding their pet rat. Whatever your fear is, just take that first step towards conquering that fear. Answer those 3 questions, find out what your fear is, and then face your fear. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Trish, for such a heartfelt speech. And Madam Timer, I would like you to give 1 minute on the clock, on the time, so that we can write some encouraging feedback to Tricia or constructive feedback. 1 minute.
One minute is up, everyone.
Thank you very much, Madam Timer, for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, this is not the time to forget your code to your phone. All right, so now, everyone, it's time for our second speaker. And if you are not speaking, would you please put yourself on mute right now? Thank you very much. Our second speaker is Kanan Sankara, Strategic Relationships Level 2, Learning Your Style and Cross-Cultural Understanding is what Kanan will be talking about tonight. Please help me welcome Kanan Sankara.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. What is culture? Culture is made up of all the ideas, beliefs, values, knowledge, and the way a group of people share. We express our culture through food, music, art, customs, ritual, and language. I think culture is not taught by anyone. We learn our culture by living it. We decide what is wrong, what is right, what is respectful, what is disrespectful, based on our understanding from parents and other important people in our life. This culture is passed on from generation to generation, from father to son, son to daughter, etc. When we move from one culture to another culture, we need to understand where we are moving. For example, in the Middle East, nobody is allowed to eat meals outside during the month of Ramadan. It is an offense. Only kids and sick people are exempted from this cultural rule. So if we go to Middle East, we need to observe this rule, as we need to respect the religious faith in that region. In India, we were taught to sit on the floor from our childhood and eat with our right hand. We use the right hand as that is the right hand to do good things. We use the left hand to do other things that are needed. When I migrated with my wife to Australia, we had a tough time to learn to use the knife and fork. We learned that in restaurants, it was not appropriate to use the hand while eating. It was easy for us to use the spoon for the soup, fork for the rice, but it was difficult to use the knife for other type of vegetarian food. We never ordered spaghetti, even though it is a vegetarian item, as we did not know how to eat with spoon and fork. When we moved to USA, things changed again. In US, people do not bother about others. Some eat with hands, some eat with fork, some eat with both mixed, even in high-end restaurants. Culture is more than just manners. It is also the way we speak. I used to speak very fast, but I slowed down a lot after joining the Toastmasters. Till today, some of my evaluators find me speaking a bit fast. I think generally the Asians tend to speak very fast compared to Westerners. The tone of the speech also may be conceived as rude, as we tend to speak a little bit loud. Unfortunately, people often think that their way is the right way. Thinking that someone else is wrong or disrespectful because they do not follow our customs leads to cross-cultural misunderstanding. Cross-cultural understanding is realizing that another culture is different from others. There is no right or wrong. They are different. I want to share a real incident from my work life where I learned a lesson. From Australia, when I migrated to USA with my family, I needed to give a project plan presentation to a customer senior leadership team in my work. I created the presentation along with a Microsoft project plan, run past the presentation with my company. Everybody acknowledged, this presentation was great. And I gave the same presentation to the senior leadership team. The senior leadership team. Hello?
Please mute yourself, Mayhan.
Yeah. The senior leadership felt that our company's plan was more time consuming. They said that each task is taking months instead of weeks. I was shocked as the activities in our plan is taking only in days instead of months. Then we realized that I was following the plan in DDMMYY format. As Australia, India all follow DDMMYY format, and Americans in general use MMDDYY format. Hence, the leadership team perceived that each task is taking months instead of days. I did not know this cultural behavior until experienced. In summary, cross-cultural understanding means learning to value other cultures. There is no right or wrong. Other people may be different. Don't think they are wrong. Let us not think which culture is right or wrong and accept all the cultures as it is. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster. You are mute. You are mute. You are muted,
Yes,
Sunny.
yes. I was doing a little cross-cultural gestures. Everyone, thank you for joining in, celebrating Kanan's speech. And Madam Timer, if you would give 1 minute so that we can give some constructive feedback to Kanan in the chat. Freaky Friday.
Right.
Thank you, Mayhan, for that. Trying to multitask here. We have concluded with our speeches. And now, Madam Timer, did both speakers meet their time? Madam Timer?
Hi, yes. Both speakers beat their time. Tricia used 5 minutes and 45 seconds. Can I use the 6 minutes and 29 seconds?
Thank you very much. That means that they are both eligible to be voted for Best Speaker. So if you would send your selection or your choice to our ballot counter, Sergeant at Arms, Tricia. Please send your vote to Tricia. There is a third speaker. No, there is no. To my knowledge, there is no third speaker today, Harry Johns, because of elections, and someone dropped out. Thank you for asking, however. At this time, we will move to the third selection unless I am missing something about another speaker. It's not on my program. Mr. President, would you just confirm that I am not missing a third speaker at this point? Okay, well, I'm going to just move. I'm just going to move forward.
I've just confirmed that on the list it's not there. There's no third
In the
speaker.
agenda, it is not there.
Yeah, it
Yep.
is not there, and there's a reason it is not there today since the third speaker dropped out, and we also had elections, and we are running out of time as we speak. We are going to have just time for just a couple of table topic questions. It will be hosted by Isabel Cordori, who actually came up with the theme for today, What's Your Superpower? Isabel, please take it from here. Let's give her a welcome. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Our table topic session is a time we practice the skill of thinking on our feet and speaking off the cuff. Today's theme is about superpower. Our members and guests will have opportunities to give an impromptu speech for 1 to 2 minutes. In the interest of time, I'm going to jumpstart the questions. The first question goes to Dara Perick. Dara Perick, you missed out the chance to tell us about your chosen superpower. Would you please share with us your superpower? Dara?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Toastmasters and fellow guests. I would like to see the future. I would like to see into the future, and I would also like to cure diseases. I work in clinical research industry where basically after the scientists find out a drug that works on animals, we try the same drugs and devices on humans. So I'm always working with the patients and the doctors to explore new therapies and also try some therapies that are already on the market. So yes, I would like to see into the future. I would like to see the time when we will have some smart glasses. You know, we would have all the powers and yes, to cure disease.
Thank you, Dara. You share my interest. That was a superpower I would like to have too. Thank you. Well, today we have to be short. This is going to be the last question I'm going to give out. The question is, do you think if ordinary person suddenly gains a superpower, will he or she more likely become a superhero or a devil? A superhero or devil? This question goes to Harry Jones. Harry, would you like to talk about this topic?
Oh, I'd love to if I could understand it.
Oh, okay. Let me just repeat again. If an ordinary person suddenly gains a superpower, will this person use the power for good or bad? What do you think?
I'm sorry, I got to beg off of this because I'm not understanding all the syllables, because I think if it's a Democrat, it's going to be bad. So take somebody else.
I'm sorry. Okay, let me ask another. Anybody raise their hand? Anybody wants to answer this question? Would you please raise your hand? William, please go ahead.
Madam Table Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and future Toastmasters. Life develops in many ways. We start out as babies, then we grow little by little, and from being a little kid, we become a big adult. So the difference between kids and adults are adults get to make rules and kids do not. That reminds me of a time when I was about 6 or 7. I went to my mom and I said, "Mom, is there truly a God? Because God wouldn't let all these bad things happen, would he?" And my mom said to me, "Yes, there's a God. And life happens for a reason. You go through things for a reason. You experience things for a reason, to make you a better person, a better human being, a better brother, a better sister, a better friend. Each step you go through, each tribulation that you go through, defines who you are and defines what your character is." I remember one time I was about 10 and I went through a terrible time. I lost one of my closest friends at that time, and I didn't think I would get through it. I didn't think I would survive. I wanted to die. I was so depressed. Finally, my mom got up and said to me, "Get your you-know-what up out of this bed and go outside and play." And I did. Thank you for the question, Madam Table Topics Master. Sorry that I switched it around on you. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, William. Thank you for your creativeness. That was a philosophical impromptu speech. Well, in interest time, let's conclude the table topic session. Thanks everyone for participation. I'm return the control back to Madam Toastmaster.
And thank you so much, Madam Table Topics Master Isabel. I wish we had more time for your great questions and, again, your theme of superpowers, because tonight our superpowers is our voice. It's now time for the third section of our meeting, and that is listening, evaluations, and it's hosted by Adrienne Pearson, Toastmaster Adrienne Pearson, and incoming Vice President of Membership. Let's welcome her.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters.
And Madam General Evaluator, is mindful of our time. We'll probably cut our evaluations down very short So I'll give you that leeway, but we should cut down. It's already 8:06.
Yes, ma'am. This part of the meeting is evaluations, and I would like to call our first evaluator, which is William, who evaluated Trisha Grove's speech. William.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, and especially Toastmaster Trisha Grove. Wow.
Sorry.
What can I say?
Can I interrupt? Actually, I thought I'm evaluating Trisha, my bad. So I didn't listen to Kanan's speech. But
yeah, I also thought as per the agenda, Hariom is evaluating Trisha and William is evaluating my speech, but I don't care whoever is evaluating.
because I think didn't listen to Kanan's speech like properly, so it's your call, guys.
Right, that's on agenda.
Yes, it's on the agenda. That was my apology. William, will put you on second, and we'll start with Hariam.
Sorry, my apologies, Williams. So my dear Toastmasters, guests, and especially Trisha, what a speech. If I have to just summarize it in 2 words, I would say it was motivating and thought-provoking. First, talking about the flow and the content, from the word go, when you mentioned that there are 3 things regarding the fear, that what is the greatest fear, what causes it, and what does it cost. It was clear that what is the topic about. And when you talked about your public speaking related fear, I'm sure everybody can relate to it. You went on to mention the details of each and every part about your greatest fear thing. When you thought about it, yes, it was public speaking. What caused it? You mentioned about your childhood and how you think that what caused it. And the main thing was that aha moment. And actually, that is something I can relate to, not for just this fear, but also for any other fear, because the aha moment that this is not your fault. That is actually the aha moment. And as I mentioned, it's not only me who can relate to it. Everybody among us who have suffered from some fear of a spider or fear of public speaking, they can jot down these 3 questions and answer in a very nice manner. The second point I would like to highlight was that it was heart-touching. You pour your heart out when you mentioned that this communication-related issue or the lack of public speaking costed a lot of things in your life, costed your marriage, and costed other things in the professional life. That was also very close to what I have experienced or what everybody experiences. So that was about the content and how does it relate to me. Now talking about your body gestures and hand gestures, one thing I love about your speech is the smile. You're always smiling, and that is something I find it very difficult to do. It's very difficult for me to smile throughout the speech. Then your hand gestures, when you pointed out that lady, that was amazing. Your voice modulation was really good. One thing I would like to highlight, or I don't think this is an improvement, but there can be slightly more energy and force when you mentioned about this aha moment. And finally, just to summarize, as I mentioned, it was thought-provoking and motivating. And I think that you have definitely came out of your fear. You are an amazing public speaker, and that is what we saw today. Back to you, Madam Evaluator.
Thank you, Hariam. Next, I would like to call William to the stage. William will be giving Kanan's evaluation.
Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, and especially distinguished Toastmaster Kanan Singha. This is my 6th time evaluating you, Kanan, so I'm surprised. I keep always getting to evaluate you, and it's going to be a great evaluation. What can I say about your speech? Wow, wow, wow. You blew me away from the beginning to the middle to the end. I was following everything you said. I was concentrating on you. You had my full attention. What did Kanan do to get that attention? He used his eye contact. He was looking into the screen. I felt that he was speaking to me. Wow. That was so powerful. His gestures were appropriate. What can I, in offering him advice, what can I offer him? Oh my God, I have to really think on this because I could not think of one thing you can do to improve this speech because I thought it was perfect. I thought it was, from the beginning to the end, was perfect. So I can't think of anything that you can improve on this speech. I always enjoy your speeches, Kanan, and I look forward to your next speech. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator. Take it away.
Thank you, William. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to call on May for a timer's report.
Okay. The first evaluation, Haran, he took 2 minutes and 51 seconds. And second evaluation by William, he took 1 minute and 41 seconds. So both within the limit.
Excellent. Thank you, May.
Thank you.
I'd like to call a grammarian for their report.
That would fall with that, Madam General Evaluator. As far as the grammarian report, Tricia, I loved your aha moment and the words, what is your greatest fear? Kanan, I started, the MMDDYY format was. First, I was like, what language is that? Very interesting. Isabel, at one point, she said, choosing instead of chosen. Dara had a few ums and you knows, but I just realized that was an eye counter moment. Hariam said costed, I believe, instead of cost you. He said that a couple of times. And I wasn't sure about the word provocating. I just may need to look that up in the dictionary because it could be a word. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And can I get a body monitor report and a chat monitor report?
For the chat monitor report, we have lots of very great feedbacks today. And basically, it has been insightful. So I highly recommend everyone to also save the chat so that you can actually savor on the evaluations. As for the body language, I've noticed Kanan and Tricia has been very sharing with us with open arms and also welcoming gestures that allows us to be entering into their speeches. So great job for both of them. I love how Sunny is being a very, very professional webinar host because she's always positioned in the center, is very clear cut. Adrian is also really light on the lightings, so basically we can see her facial expression very clearly. The others, well done for everyone. Back to you.
Thank you. And at this time, I'd just like to give my report about the meeting. I thought it was an odd meeting because we had elections, so that really pushed us in time. I also think that we were sort of rushed, so we missed certain aspects of our meeting. And I wanted to give a shout out to William for stepping up and taking on some roles, and also to Sunny for just that quick reminder to have all of us mute while we're not speaking. And as far as the table topic winners, I will go ahead and ask Sunny at this point, are we voting? Yes, we are voting. Okay, so if we can vote, and is that, if people can vote, give me their vote? What is 2, Sunny?
I believe there were 2 speakers. The second was William. I forget who the first was.
Dara, I think. Dara Parikh. Dara
Okay.
Parikh, I think.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. So if you could, in fact, instead of going with voting, why don't we just give them both the credit for stepping up and topics? And thank you so much for participating with our odd meeting. And let's give them all a round of applause for doing just that. Thank you. At this time, I would like to give the meeting back to our table, or our Toastmaster, Sunny Fridge.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator, and let's thank our General Evaluator for holding it down for us. I thank you all for being a part of today's meeting, as tight as it was, as trying as it was, trying to fill in some of the roles. I just want to encourage you, those of you who did not take a role but you are members, please, next week we have, it's wide open. I'll just say that, and please sign up early, and as soon as you can, someone take over Toastmaster of the Day. Now I hand it back over to our president, Mr. Aaron Young.